Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. If you're looking for undervalued investment opportunities, I'm going to go over a whole bunch right here. I'm going to go over some of the companies that we own on the channel. At least a lot of us do own them. This is oil and natural gas, and they are breaking some really big patterns. We're talking, remember, monster patterns change lives. The bigger the pattern, the bigger the break, the larger the move after the pattern. So the good thing that I'm looking at is we've got massive launching pads to launch from. They're breaking very large patterns. And remember, the bigger the pattern, the bigger the move after it. So let's jump in here. You're going to lose me. This is for oil and natural gas. I've got oil up here right now. This is the price of oil, West Texas Intermediate crude. We broke this big downtrend here, and we are marching higher. This looks great. Now, it doesn't mean that this is just going to go straight higher. Patience is going to be needed. I think we are going to go higher for a good while, and then we'll probably in the winter or something kind of do a normal little pullback, and we'll go up and down on an upward bias. But this thing looks fantastic on a long-term perspective. We broke this goes all the way back to 2008-ish, and we broke it to the upside. So it's game on as far as I'm concerned. Now, natural gas is also putting in work here, and I'm getting pretty excited about natural gas because natural gas is a real volatile mix, and it seems like the more renewables they put in and the bigger the failures that we're having in terms of stable energy, since we can't really store electricity very well, we've been running natural gas extra hard. So I think, if anything, demand for natural gas is going to go up quite dramatically. So here's the downtrend here. We're peaking out, turtle heading right now. We've got another big downtrend here, this line, and we break that, which is just above where we're at today. I think we're going to break it in the winter, probably the fall winter, and it's coming up pretty quick because summer's gonna fly by us here, and we'll be in the fall winter, and this thing's going to be heading on higher, I think. We'll see what happens. Now, here's SM Energy. This is a company that I own. I'm very heavily invested in. So it's coming on down. Here's the trend line. And we broke it to the upside. This is a major trend line all the way back to 2014. And we're heading higher. The projection here, this could go a lot higher. So we broke the trend line. That's what's important, just like oil. And we're moving on higher. Now here's SM Energy from a very big long-term perspective. We've got a declining wedge pattern, and this thing is a massive pattern, just absolutely massive. You can maybe even do a pattern here where the expected move could be something like this. And this is not on a logarithmic chart. That's at least probably where it's going to go, 45, 50 bucks, 50 bucks probably on this here. If it's a logarithmic chart, it's going to look a lot different. It's probably going to be a lot higher than what you've got here. So that one's looking fantastic. Now here's Birchcliff Energy, another one, downtrend, big downtrend line broken, and it's flying higher. What I would do is nothing if you own it. Just hold on. Just hold on. Here's Birchcliff on a really long-term basis. We've got a trend line up here, and we've got another trend line that broke. So it broke, and it just been bubbling higher. And if oil continues higher, I don't see why this wouldn't go all the way up to the trend line and eventually break it. So that's going to be a big move. Now here's Crew Energy, another one that we have on the channel. Chart this guy across. We are still coming up to the trend line, which is a good, $3 and something cents up here on CR.TO. So that one looks good on a long-term basis. It still has a long way to work. Same with its long-term chart. I mean, we broke this short-term long one, and then we're working on this next one, which is up there. So this has a long way to go. Here's Athabasca Oil Corp. We're right there trying to break out of its downtrend line from these two contact points up here. We already broke the one that you used down here. and it's putting in work. We start breaking through all these. This is a very good base to launch from, and to launch from this guy, this resistance trend line. Now here's Centennial Development Resource on a logarithmic scale. This thing's ridiculous. We've come on down. We had this massive sell-off all the way down to 25 cents. That's ridiculous. We're coming on up, and then we've got the shoulder, head, shoulder pattern. The projected move of this, or you could say it's a cup and handle, it's the same thing. The projected move is off the charts to the upside. So, God, I own a lot of this. I own a lot of CDEV and SM Energy and CPE and all the ones I'm showing here. I think this could potentially move quite dramatically higher. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know. It could go straight up, or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure the path it's going to take and the time. But I can tell you that this is a gigantic launching pad that we just broke to the upside, and that it has a lot more room to run than where it is today. And usually what happens is the way this comes down is the way that it goes back up. The speed of it. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same. Nothing's the same. It's similar. And this went from $22 or so all the way down to $3 in about a year. This is October to October, a little after October, a little over a year. I have a feeling this could go up in less than a year even. So maybe 2022 or 2023, we could see this really start to move higher. This is what it looks like on a very long-term, large-scale, non-logarithmic. The projected move is at least to $10 if it's non-logarithmic. I do think it's a little bit larger than this. It's probably somewhere in between 10 and 20 or 10 and $15 at a minimum. But see how this declined here very quickly? This was going to turn right here. You could see the momentum. It was going to go up right here. It broke to the upside, and then COVID happened. But and we got this incredible buying opportunity down here. But I think this is going to go far higher, probably up to $22 in a pretty quick time. Here's CPE. This guy, just looking at it from a big picture view, we've got a shoulder, head, shoulder develop, and we broke to the upside. So just be patient, because the projected move here is way up here. I mean, it's way up here. Here's it on a big long-term perspective. This is the move right here in a non-logarithmic move, probably at least about $100 or so, 80 to 100 bucks. Just hold on, hold on. Now here's Tetra Technologies. This is a highly leveraged energy service company, has a lot of debt. And we're coming on up. We're hitting this downtrend line. Another launching pad. It's going to take some time maybe to break through this. Once it breaks through, we can launch higher. So that one looks pretty good. It's just going to take some time. Here's Tetra Technologies on a big scale picture. This was one of the reasons why I bought Tetra Technologies, was the leverage. What this is you've got the lows in here that it was contacting. And the highs coming down. We contracted into this point and broke to the downside. This is where I bought, was all down here. And the projected move is the size of this move here to the bottom to the top, which on a non-logarithmic scale is like 28 bucks. You bring this to a logarithmic scale, I mean, it's going to be way up here. It's going to be like 30 or 40 bucks. And I don't know necessarily, I don't know which one's necessarily right when you do it. I tend to think that logarithmic scales are more right, but I'll be reserved and say this is probably going to go to at least 30 bucks or so, maybe even 40 bucks. But we'll see. We'll see over time. It could surprise us. Now here's Transocean Rig. This guy is still in its downtrend way down here. I do think the energy service companies are providing better entry points at this exact time. They seem to be a lot lower and a lot lower priced, so the value there might be a little bit greater. So go back and look at my energy service, the big chart patterns video that I did technical analysis on about a week ago or a few days ago. And there's a lot of really good opportunities, I think, in the energy service sector. This is Transocean, an energy service sector company. It's not totally, too high off its bottom, but I think there's a lot of potential here. Here's FANG, or Diamondback Energy. This was QEP. They bought QEP out. We've got a shoulder that just broke to the upside, and I think this could potentially have a long way to move higher based off of the pattern. Here's Antero Resources. This one broke out of its long-term downtrend, looking fantastic. And again, I don't know the path. I don't know if this is going to, pull back or just go higher. What's important here is that it's moving higher and it broke a downtrend trend line. And this is a launching pad to move a lot higher from. And we're very close to the pad. So I think it has a long ways to go. Here's CNX Resources, a natural gas company. Again, this guy, I just kind of connected these guys. We're way down there still. Has a long way to move up. This is quite explosive when it starts to move quite dramatically. This is from 594 down here all the way to about $100, a little bit under, maybe $90, $90-something. This was the last bull market, and I think we're going to see something very similar to that. Silverbow, the one that got away, broke its downtrend here. We're coming up, trying to break this guy. I don't know if I'd buy this. This has gone quite vertical. But if it does get above this, this is another launching pad to launch higher from. Now, I was talking about an energy service company. This thing is still very low here. And what's ridiculous about this chart, this is an energy service company. Now, check this out. You draw this downward and you do a price projection move. I mean, guys, this is from here. If we break out, this is going to go to like $50 is the projection on a normal scale here. It's not logarithmic. It's still down there. Now, I don't know. Notice how the sell-offs are getting smaller and smaller. Now, I don't know if we're going to break to the downside and have a little more sell-off where it comes down here. That would be the buying opportunity. And even right here is a good buying opportunity, I think, to look at. But it's up to you. This chart, whenever you see these big kind of original entry points like this, usually that means that we could see a really big move coming up, but it may take some time. So this energy service company looks absolutely fantastic to dig into and see if it's worth investing in. Now here's another one, Neighbors Industries. This thing is coiling up. See how it's coiling on up? And right here it's breaking and broke the upside. This is a nice one to look into, NBR. Down here looks absolutely fantastic for a potential entry point. It's looking pretty good. It's a big pattern. Here's Oil States International, another energy service company that I think looks very promising. We're coming on down, and COVID sold this thing off. It was going to break to the upside. COVID took it down. It's staying low for a little bit, and I think this thing down here is one to look into. It's quite interesting. And then Sandridge Energy, looking at that, the downtrend's broken, and we're kind of just, upward bias moving higher. Baytex Energy, I know some people on the channel own this one, broken downtrend line, and it paused, broke out, paused, and now we're moving higher. Something to just hold on to. This has moved quite dramatically, and I don't know if there's share dilution in here or what, but this thing absolutely, has gone down quite dramatically. This could mimic this upward move, or even beat it a little bit quicker. So that's what I have for all the companies. I wanted to take a big picture view of a lot of the companies that we own on the channel. I threw in a couple of new ones in the energy service sector that I'm interested in. I have not taken positions in my portfolio yet on them. I'm looking and watching. I'm hoping for maybe a pullback, fingers crossed, so I can buy some and get some more exposure to some of these energy service companies. I do think there's still a lot of potential in them. So, and by looking at their charts, I think they are probably they still have very good entry points. They're still down very much so, and they're just breaking their big patterns. So that's when I like to add some in. So hopefully this helps you remain confident in some of the picks that you have, that you're in, if you're in oil and you partake in some of these companies. And I gave you a couple new ones to look into in energy service. I'm going to look into them. I'll let you know what I think. And I'll probably end up entering them, is my guess, just based off of the chart patterns themselves. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks. This is Finding Value.